second and final game of Week 3 in the L Lynch Trophy, which features the reigning NBL Division 1 champions and National Cup winners, Solent Kestrels, taking on the Worthing Thunder, two teams that need no introduction towards each other. Both teams have added new players but have kept the majority of last season's roster, and it promises to be an enthralling game. Once again, good afternoon. John Hobbs alongside Jerry Merrill and Ryan Payne guiding you through today's action. We witnessed the BA London Lions beat the Essex Rebels in our opening game, and now a game, Jerry, between two Division 1 heavyweights.
Yes, indeed, yeah. So from seeing two of the new teams, one of the new teams promoted into Division 1, Essex against the guest team, the guest team, Barking Abbey London Lions. In the first game, Barking Abbey sealing a win. This game promises to be a real thriller. Both teams coming in with a rich vein of form, having shown significant improvement from their first games that they played. Key players on both sides, and you'd have to say, based on previous years, the two strongest teams potentially in the league, both teams having made additions that they're hoping will strengthen their squads.
Absolutely, and Ryan, the team news to come out of today, Howard Crawford makes his debut for the Worthing Thunder. He couldn't get international clearance for their win over the Essex Rebels a couple of weeks ago. No Jack Sunderland in the lineup. He didn't travel with the team today. He is injured, unknown of what injury it is. And for the Solent Kestrels, Luke Bazumbro not playing today. He picked up a knock. And also Brendan Okoronkwo was receiving a little bit of treatment, and he hasn't trained all day. No Chris Scarlett either for the Kestrels.
Yeah, so I talked to Matt Guyman before the game a little bit, and Luke had rolled his ankle pretty badly and possibly might be out for a few weeks. Obviously, that's an injury that he's had previously, so that's concerning for Kestrels in the long term. Chris, I know works, has quite a high-powered job. He sometimes needs to work on Sundays, so can't always commit. So he's not been unable to make it today. And I think Brendan's probably got a bit of carryover from the ankle roll that he faced last week. Matt was unsure as to whether he was going to play. He wanted to warm up to see if he could go. But obviously we've seen him get a tape job and have some treatment prior to the game. So hopefully we should see him at some point today.
Absolutely, and one player that I know a lot of people will be tuning in to watch, Worthing Thunder's number 5, Cameron Hildreth. 37 points, in the win over Essex a couple of weeks ago. Obviously didn't play last week against Barking Abbey, but has committed to Wake Forest, a huge programme in the States. And a lot of people will be tuning in just to watch Cameron and how he plays today. Yeah,
obviously really exciting young player. Great opportunity for him to go and play at Wake Forest. Amazing achievement for him. And he is such an explosive offensive player that, he can get points in bunches. And that's going to, be, I'm sure, one of Matt's focus points for today is how they limit his opportunities.
Absolutely, we're nearing tip-off in our final game of the day. And one thing we did notice that is a bit peculiar, we're at the Solent Sports Complex, we're in the bubble, Jerry, but Solent are actually the designated visitors for today's game. They're playing in red, Worthing Thunder in their home kit of black.
Yes, that's right. And it'll be interesting to see after this is their third season now here at Solent University, and missing a couple of players as well. If that has any disruption to Solent Kestrel's rhythm at all, or whether they're able to pick up from where they carried on with their dominant display over Essex. And Worthing not only in a new kit, but also on the home team bench. Thankfully, it appears that they've sorted out the kit issues that plagued them the first time they played here, with such things going on as Tom Ward playing, but Max Richardson wearing his shirt. Caused us no end of confusion up in the commentary box.
So starting fives will just about ready to come out, and it will be an interesting topic to see if Brendan does play in this game. The live stats actually don't have him down as a starter. Andre Aerosol looks to be in his place. It'll be interesting to see if he'll get any minutes here today.
Yeah, certainly Brendan, such a high IQ player, normally starts for this team. Andre Arasol's been great off the bench in the first couple of games. But obviously, it's an interesting decision by Matt. You know, possibly with an injury, you'd think he might start the game so he doesn't cool down, doesn't potentially have to come in cold later. So he's decided to go with Andre Arasol, not take the risk, and Andre's played a great game last week defensively, and
absolutely, yeah.
I think he scored 17 points off the bench. It was an impressive performance.
So Solent's starting five: Ian Smith, Elliot Dadds, Andre Arasol, Orlan Jackman, Travis Charles, and Worthing Thunder countering with Max Richardson, Cameron Hildreth, Howard Crawford, Tom Ward, and Ishmael Fontaine. And like we've seen throughout the L Lynch Trophy, players from both teams taking the knee for Black Lives Matter. And that's fantastically observed. And obviously we are united, not divided, in the fight against racism.
It's really interesting that Zair's not starting. It's not something I've ever seen happen with this team before. So
absolutely. Ishmael Fontaine, usually the sixth man off the bench, is starting for the Thunder in this game. And as you say, is Zaire Taylor choosing not to start? Howard Crawford will instead take the jump ball with Travis Charles. And Thunder get the first possession. And here is Fontaine. Ward. Crawford, be interesting to see how he plays here today. First game for the Thunder. His turnaround is no good. Here is Arasol.
Strong matchup down the low post between Crawford and Travis Charles there.
Beautiful move there from Arasol, and Tom Ward just getting his hands in the wrong area, and Arasol going to the line for two.
Yeah, a lot of contact on the previous play down the low post. Howard Crawford and Travis Charles. Going to be interesting to see how that plays out and how the refs are going to call it.
Absolutely. And Andre Arasol, what a couple of games he's had for the Kestrels. 15 points against Barking Abbey. A lot of energy in the win as well against Essex, a former GB under-18 international, formerly with Loughborough.
And what you'll see with him is he's going to be key to the Kestrels' defence, really pressuring up the court. You can see they've got him on Cameron Hildreth already, so they've set the claim out there that he's going to be the one to take the task today.
Tom Ward putting the moves on Smith, well contested by Ian Smith. No good with the mid-range jumper for Ward, and here is Smith, who had such an incredible game last week against Essex. Jackman puts up a three, long. Charles with the offensive rebound. And Arasol counters with another three. That's no good. Elliot Dadds fighting for the loose ball. It will go to Worthing, though.
Yeah, Elliot Dadds just stepping out of bounds. No surprise that with Andre Arasol on Cam Hildreth, Elliot Dadds, also one of the league's premier defenders.
Absolutely, and the first time Hildreth played against Solent, they really put pressure on him. He struggled for with his shooting from outside, and was in foul trouble in that game as well. Smith for three. Fontaine rebounds.
Yeah, that first game that Hildreth played in NBL Division 1 against Solent, they really put the pressure on him, and quite for a young man, quickly picks up 4 fouls, and great to see how he recovered and how he learned from that. And the next time they matched up, he had a far better game.
Absolutely, and especially in that trophy quarter-final, BBL trophy quarter-final, Hildreth had an incredible fourth quarter. Brought Worthing right back into it and made it an enthralling last 2 or 3 minutes before Solent pulled away gradually at the end.
And I think that's going to be key to Coach Matt Guyman's thought process in this game is not just how you're going to defend Cam Hildreth, but making him defend at the other end of the court, wearing him down over the course of 40 minutes. It's going to take away from his legs and his ability to have that impact offensively going down the stretch of the game.
Some great defense here from Smith, but he fouled Tom Ward, who you felt was looking for the open man for the pass but couldn't find anyone. Lots of support for the Worthing Thunder on our Basketball England YouTube channel. Don't forget to keep the comments coming. Lots of people watching at the moment. Great to have you on board. Here is Hildreth. Hildreth putting the moves on Aerosol. Going inside, blocked. Gets his own rebound and scores on the follow. I think Jackman was the one with the block there.
Yeah, way to stick with it. Didn't give up on the play, got his own rebound and put it back in.
Charles from his favourite spot makes no mistake.
Excellent pick and roll there by Ian Smith and Travis Charles. Pocket pass for the shot that Travis wants.
Max Richardson from the corner, and Jackman rebounds. Aerosol. Dads. Jackman inside, and Jackman with the easy finish.
Yeah,
good start here from the Kestrels.
Yeah, Crawford paying a lot of attention to Travis there, not rotating, not coming to help, allowing Jackman to get the easy lay-in once he'd beaten his man.
Tom Ward putting the moves on Smith. Ward with the mid-range jumpers, and Richardson battling inside. And Hildreth, as the shot clock goes down to 8. Hildreth going inside, finds no one, but another whistle has gone, and it will be a Solent possession. I think that was an offensive foul. Already, Jerry, though, Cameron Hildreth being made to work very hard by this stifling Kestrels defence as a timeout is called.
Yeah, that's right. I think he'll find it a lot tougher in this game than he did in the previous outing that he enjoyed with his 37 points in that game. But yeah, certainly good signs from Kestrels with their defence early on, and as Ryan was saying earlier, looking to get him to play at both ends of the floor as well, so looking to make him defend and try and wear him down.
Absolutely. Kestrels leading 8-2 over the Thunder in the early stages of this first quarter. And Ryan, as a former Solent Stars man yourself, you've been on the court with the Worthing Thunder over your years of playing in the early 2000s. What history and what memories do you have of your games with Worthing?
Getting beat a lot, to be honest.
Well, that's one way to start a conversation, isn't it?
No, so they were just a much better team than us when I played. The last season I played for Solent Stars, we got to the playoffs for the first time in a number of years, and the first we were the 8th seed, they were the 1 seed, and they beat us by close to 40 points. They were a really good team, Alfredo Watt. But really, going down to Worthing, it was such a great game day experience. The fans are, you've got people that go every week to watch their team play, travel with the team to watch them play. They really are a professional outfit, and as much as playing against them was difficult because they were so good, it was, exactly what you play basketball for, that professional sort of outlook. And it was, enjoyable to contest your game against some of the best players in the league you were playing in.
Absolutely. Offensive foul called there, and that's what a lot of visiting players to the Worthing Leisure Centre say about the Worthing Thunder game day experience, just how professional it is. The fans always making a lot of noise, a lot of support for their team, and that's what brings a lot of the visiting fans to the Worthing Leisure Centre. And over the years, a lot of visiting fans do travel to the Worthing Leisure Centre just for that game day experience. As Crawford turns it around, no good, and on the follow, Max Richardson doesn't get it, and Ian Smith with the loose ball. Yeah,
and in fairness to that game day experience as well, so Worthing always outplayed us predominantly when we had our matchups with them, but anytime I did have a good game against Worthing, at the same time, that the fans were very appreciative of people that played good basketball against them, and I had a number of people come up and say that you had a good game, well played, that type of thing. So that's exactly the type of thing you want in basketball in this country and sport in general.
Hildreth, and again Aerosol right there with Hildreth. Here is Richardson putting the moves on Jackman, and Richardson scores. Nice 2-pointer there for Max Richardson.
Tough shot, well contested there.
Absolutely. Second spell with the Thunder for Max Richardson, of course a former Loughborough man himself. Aerosol. And here's Jackman putting the moves on Richardson, going inside. And he's going to be going to the foul line.
I think we're going to see this this matchup quite a bit. You know, this is the one matchup I've seen so far where Kestrels have a pretty clear advantage. Jackman so much bigger and stronger than the person guarding him. We'll see some of his ability and some of his veteran leadership offensively in this game, which we probably haven't seen much of so far.
Absolutely. Zaire Taylor coming into the game for the first time. Max Richardson, that was his second foul, so he will take a seat.
Yeah, that might also be indicative of Zaire recognising the mismatch that Ryan was talking about. As I said, one of the stronger, where we look to have a strength and size dominance in the matchup. Certainly Travis Charles finding it difficult down on the block with Howard Crawford and dealing with his size. It's probably the first time in a couple of years that Travis Charles has had to deal with somebody with that physicality. Forgetting the BBL trophy final last year, of course, where he had to deal with a 7-foot giant.
Tom Ward, mid-range jumper, long. Jackman with the rebound. And now Solent can break in transition. Aerosol quickly gets it and scores. Hildreth wanted to travel, but Aerosol got the 2. Hildreth for 3, and he's going to go to the line, I think, for 3 shots.
Yeah, Ian Smith just not...
it will be for 3.
Ian just not being able to stay out of his cylinder and fouling him.
And you can see, Ryan, that for Cameron to excel in this game, it seems like Worthing will have to break out in transition a little more just to get Hildreth involved.
I was thinking about that before the game. That his strength is the transition game, but you have to question whether or not that's playing into Kestrels' hands, because they're probably the best team in the league at getting into a full court game. But you won't get the best out of Cameron Hildreth unless they're playing fast and exploiting those advantage situations. So that's the way they've got to play, but it is a fine line to walk if you're Worthing Thunder.
Of course, recently committed to Wake Forest, a fantastic video that was put together by Storm Basketball Club, Holy Trinity in Crawley, of Cameron's life in video form, ending of course with several images of Wake Forest players and Cameron verbally committing. Charles, that's a wild pass. Aerosol jumped out of the gym but couldn't get it.
Yeah, it was a great double team. I think Chapman came down, saw the mismatch. Travis Charles on Fontaine came down, made him throw a cross-court pass to just out of reach for, was it Aerosol?
Yeah. And one of the things we don't talk about with Fontaine, a great energy play, usually comes off the bench. He's starting today. But his defensive presence, especially help with the double team and just overall energy, is something that really needs to be highlighted more.
He's like you say, high energy defensive player, likes to get up and pressure the ball and put people in difficult situations. And by all accounts, he's a great guy as well. Professional, great ambassador for English basketball.
Absolutely. Here's Dads, and again another wayward pass. Solent with a couple of poor passes in their first few possessions here, or last few possessions, and it's a Worthing ball. And you can see already again a lot of focus on Cameron Hildreth. Aerosol on him, and Elias Porman, who's into the game for the first time, was also on him. And a turnover there. Good defense there, helped by Travis Charles. And here comes Aerosol going all the way at Fontaine, no good. And here comes Ward. Hildreth in transition for 3, puts it in. Cameron Hildreth.
Big shot.
And already I think Tom Ward's just calling for something there, but...
It's a wet spot on the floor, I believe. In the break of play, trying to get them to mop it up, to make sure nobody slips up down the other end when play changes.
Straight away, there he is.
Elliot Goddard.
He's everywhere, this guy. 3:44 remaining. Kestrels lead 12-9. Dads. What a pass inside to Jackman, and Jackman again going to the foul line. And Elliot Dads, a Solent fan favourite, they call him Mr. Southampton here, and he's been with the Kestrels almost since the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. From, I think, under 12s it was. I remember a junior presentation night, Elliot Dadds and Chris Scarlett both being up on stage for winning various awards. And interesting to see, for me, interesting to see Orland Jackman so far really, really stepping up. I think in intensity. It's liveliest that I've seen him play in his short career with Kestrels so far.
Absolutely, what a statement signing that was. Kestrels signing Orland Jackman to a multi-year deal with the club, former London City Royals player, and last season spent the latter half with the Essex and Hearts Leopards, of course now the Oaklands Wolves, and an England international at the Commonwealth Games at the Gold Coast in 2018.
Elliot Dad's now matching up with Zaire and switched off with Orland Jackman.
Ward with the pull-up, and no good for Tom Ward. Really struggling from the field so far, Tom Ward. He likes that pull-up jumper. Aerosol putting the moves on Fontaine, kicks it out Dad's, and Solent will have to restart.
That's interesting. Zaire now on Travis.
That was good defence there from Zaire Taylor, actually knocking the ball out of bounds, getting in front of Travis Charles.
Yeah, read the pass to the outside hand, beat him to the ball.
And Jonathan Lashley coming into the game for the first time for the Kestrels. Howard Crawford also taking a seat for the Thunder, and Dominic Ives coming into the game for the first time. Here is Lashley. Aerosol. Dad's for three on the catch and shoot. That's good.
Yeah, and if Elliot Dad's is gonna knock down threes, it's gonna be a tough day for any team to play against him, because that's what most teams will want him to do: shoot threes rather than create for other people. He's now off in transition as well.
And this is how where Solent are so dangerous, but Thunder recover. Here's
it was
Dad's.
Good transition defense there by Thunder, keeping him maintained, swarming the ball.
Good
great hands.
There. And Zaire Taylor, who averaged 4 steals last season, and Hildreth again from downtown. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Get that transition play going, and Hildreth will connect.
Yeah, the more clean looks you get for him, the more effective he's going to be. If he's got to work his way up the court 90 feet with Andre Aerosol guarding him the whole way, it's going to be tough for him.
Nice move there from Jackman. Smooth footwork, and finishes the 2. Thunder trail 12-19. Taylor in and out with his 3. Hildreth already on 10 points for the Thunder. Aerosol with Ward in his face, and Ives with the loose ball. Fontaine. Taylor slowing it down, finds Ives, putting the moves on Lashley. Turnaround jumper for Dominic Ives, and that's short. No Thunder player there to get the rebound. Lashley. Ives. Good defense there from Dominic Ives, travelled by Lashley, and that's a testament to Dominic Ives. That was good defense.
Yeah, good defense there. Took away his step through, gave him nowhere to go. Luke Gosney checking in for Kestrels.
Yep, last season with Liverpool Basketball Club, Luke Gosney, and Elias Porman will take a seat as we nearly enter the final minute of this first quarter. Kestrels lead 19-12. Fontaine going to the hoop, kicks it out to Ives, and Thunder will slow it down again. Taylor going inside with a wild hook, but gets it to go.
Yeah, typical Zaire making the difficult shot there.
Aerosol puts on the Jets and banks it home.
That's what we've seen from Andre Aerosol so far, is this high tempo, high impact, runs all game, and he's picking up. He's going to pick up Cameron Hildreth again.
Taylor, beautifully done by Zaire Taylor. That was gorgeous.
he's so under control. Took his time into the steps and then just such a soft touch around the basket, floated it up there, got a soft touch on the rim and bounced in.
There's a 2-second differential between shot clock and game clock here. Final 10 seconds. Aerosol has the speed advantage on Ward. Nearly gets the 2 to go, and Ives to Ward, and this will end the first quarter as Ward's pass to Hildreth was wayward. And that ends the first quarter. Solent lead 21-16. A fairly even first quarter of play. Kestrels, though, just getting the edge over the visiting or the home side Worthing Thunder.
Yeah. I think Worthing did a credit to themselves in that quarter, really. There was a point it could have got out of hand, and they stuck with it. Obviously, Zaire came into the game and really settled them down, got them another scorer, because they only had 2 people scoring up until the last couple of minutes. But yeah, interesting to see how the rest of the half goes and what they do coming into this second quarter.
Absolutely, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Basketball England YouTube channel. We're streaming plenty more games over the season, and what we have seen, Jerry, with the L Lynch Trophy is a lot of the teams becoming, streaming their own games. We saw Bristol Flyers TV, Bristol Flyers women playing against the Solent Kestrels in WNBL action, and also with the L Lynch Trophy, some of the former players turning their hand to commentary. And a big shout out to Tozen and to Justin from the Baller's Voice, putting on a fantastic commentating show over in Oaklands over this course of the month.
Yeah, that's right. And I saw the games that were broadcast yesterday as well. And it's great to see, all of these clubs and centres and venues and stuff starting to get online and starting to produce, these fantastic events and broadcasts. And here at Solent University, they've got their own in-house broadcasting set up with Sonar TV. All of the students doing their media studies, qualifications and stuff like that, an opportunity to get stuck into live broadcasts, and certainly the quality of camera work and things like that has been magnificent.
Absolutely, and Sonar TV were instrumental in the coverage of the Solent Kestrels Bristol Flyers BBL Trophy first leg here on a cold Wednesday night in Solent. I was there for that game, and the crowd was absolutely incredible for a midweek game, standing room only, and they got to see an absolute show in that game.
Yeah, it was cold outside. It definitely wasn't cold in here.
It was raining as well, I think, as well.
It was an absolutely magnificent atmosphere, and it just kind of highlights, the impact that COVID-19 is having. That we're talking about that game with, where we had, 600-700 people in here, virtually no standing room left, and here we are playing in front of an empty house.
So Cameron Hildreth leading all scorers for Thunder with 10 points, and Orland Jackman 8 points for the Kestrels, who lead by 5 in this second quarter. And here is Travis Charles, and Charles is fouled by Crawford, and that'll be Crawford's second foul.
Clever move by Travis Charles there. Went underneath Crawford's arm to draw the foul. Travis has struggled with the size and the athletic ability so far. So maybe getting himself to the free throw line will help him.
I find myself apologising to Owen Parker quite a lot today as well. My apologies for reminding you of that game. Of course, if you were a Bristol fan, probably not the one game you'd want to remember, I guess. But you win some, you lose some.
Absolutely, and that was such a defining game for Kestrels, I think. Nobody expected us to, nobody expected Kestrels to dominate the game from start to end in the way that they did. And interesting, on the last play, Travis Charles coming out far more aggressively, offensively, taking the ball to the hoop. Thunder sending 3 men after him. Travis Charles on the foul line shooting 2.
Travis Charles now moves on to 3 points. Makes them both. Of course, Travis Charles was the MVP when these two teams met in the playoff final in 2019. Of course, we didn't have a playoff final last season due to the coronavirus. So you could say technically Solent are still playoff champions, wouldn't you? You could still hold that to them, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure they would prefer to have had the run at the playoffs last year, like we all would have liked to have seen. Elliot Dad's called for a foul there. We've seen this call a lot in the the 3 weeks that we've had of the L Lynch Trophy. This landing space call that the referees are making. It's one I think I've said before that didn't used to get made 10 years ago. You have to give the shooter the space to land. Can't be stood in their landing space when they come down.
Absolutely, we have seen that called quite a lot, especially over the course of last season too, as Lashley has the ball. Aerosol wide open three, but he's short. Ives with a big rebound there for the Thunder. Ives had 7 rebounds against Essex a couple weeks ago. Taylor for 3, that's good. Zaire Taylor from downtown.
Yeah, you don't really want Zaire to be heating up downtown if you're on the Kestrels bench. Fantastic contest on the boards at both ends.
And Charles from his favourite spot makes no mistake, loves that mid-range jumper. And already 2 for 2 from that spot.
It was an excellent pass from Elliot Dad's across court. He saw the help side coming over, helped off with Travis, and he was wide open, got him the ball in his sweet spot for the mid-range.
Kestrels lead by 5. Aerosol putting the moves on Fontaine, and he's going to go to the foul line. That'll be a first foul on Ishmael Fontaine.
Aerosol looks dangerous every time he gets out in transition to his right hand. Looks like good things are going to happen every time.
And Fontaine will come out and Hildreth comes in. And also into the game for the first time, Nicolas Ballon, who's a former Solent Kestrels player for the second team in Division 3 a couple of seasons ago. This is his second season with the Thunder.
Yeah, played for coach Sylvain Dono, both for the university, I believe, and in the Division 3 and Division 2, possibly, when they're in that division.
Yeah, he was actually in the playoff final in Division 3 a couple of seasons ago. That's beautiful move there from Taylor, but was just short with his layup, but it will stay a Thunder possession.
Yeah, Howard Crawford perhaps just getting away with one there, coming flying into the back of Travis Charles on the boards.
I've changed the call, yeah. Nice to see Elias Poorman's father, Jeff Poorman, amongst the comments. Good to have you on board, sir. Keep the comments coming, whoever and wherever you are, as Gosney goes all the way. Doesn't get it, and Ives wrestles it off Jonathan Lashley. And in transition, there is Hildreth again, and blocked by Charles under the basket.
Great transition defense from Kestrels, getting a man back.
Aerosol for 3, gets it to
and
go.
Converts it at the other end.
Andre Aerosol from downtown, he moves on to 9. Hildreth. Turnaround 3, way off. Dads.
And this is one of those possessions or streaks of possessions that could get out of hand.
On the follow, Gosney off the miss from Dads, and timeout Worthing. Great defense from the Kestrels, limiting Cameron Hildreth, and all of a sudden the Kestrels lead balloons to 8.
Yeah, and it's a great timeout by the Worthing Thunder coach, because you know that another up and down possession like that and the game could be blown wide open. Kestrels get into that transition momentum game. It's a downward spiral. It's hard to climb out of. They played a great defensive possession against Cameron Hildreth at one end and then put them under serious pressure in transition the other end.
And Thunder this season coached by Julian Stanley, a guy who used to play for the Worthing Thunder, brief spell with the Sussex Bears as well, and has turned his hand to coaching and was actually an assistant coach for CJ Lee with the Solent Kestrels women a couple of seasons ago. Yeah,
so we've got all the links with the club both ways, to be fair. Both teams have got links in both directions. Obviously 2 Premier Division 1 clubs on the South Coast. opportunities for everyone in both directions.
Absolutely.
Of course, there's the Goddard connection as well.
Absolutely, yes. Josh Goddard, who's obviously a Worthing Thunder player, but a number of the Goddard family actually involved with the Kestrels as well.
Josh is another one that came up through the Kestrels junior ranks.
Absolutely.
And helped coach at some of the younger junior academy sessions as well.
So 7-24. It's actually a 10-point lead for the Kestrels, not an 8-point lead. Scoreboard and live stats just a little slow, but we'll allow that. Again, it's pre-season. That's the excuse I'm making all game long. If I get anything wrong, it's pre-season.
Everybody's rusty.
Here is Hildreth. Finds Crawford, who's back into the game. Ballon, and should be a foot violation, and it is. There was enough room there for Ballon to actually go to the hoop himself.
Yeah, absolutely. For him to take the ball to the rack rather than trying to dump it off to Crawford, who had 3 Kestrels players marking him at that point in time.
And Ballon will take a seat along with Dominic Ives, and Max Richardson, Tom Ward come back into the game. Here is Crawford. Crawford, who's yet to get off the mark yet, and still yet to score. His layup was no good. Here's Dads for the Kestrels. And Aerosol thought about the 3, but instead Solent reset. Good defense there from Ward on Lashley, but Solent keep possession. Shot clock down to 4. Wild pass there, and Aerosol with the floater is short, but they get the rebound. Shot clock back to normal. Here is Lashley inside, and he's going to go to the foul line. That's poor play from, if you're a Worthing Thunder player, allowing that offensive rebound.
Absolutely, yeah. Kestrel sticking with it. Second, third chance attempt. Eventually drawing the foul. He's going to go to the line. I was just looking. It's interesting. Kestrels were in this position, 10 points up. Ian Smith's only played for almost 5 minutes so far in both quarters. He spent the rest of the time on the bench. So Andre Aerosol doing a more than adequate job filling in.
And Crawford now on 3 fouls, so his debut for Thunder proving to be a little rusty right now as he takes a seat. Dominic Ives' short break sees him on the court again.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, John, that's a costly foul for Worthing. Crawford picking up his 3rd and not of his own making. He played excellent defense on the possession that led to the shot, and Aerosol just allowed to come in and get an offensive rebound after taking a 1-footed end of 24-second shot clock attempt, and that could cost Worthing for the rest of the half not having that interior presence.
Still 6:29 left in the second quarter. Here is Hildreth. That man Aerosol on him. Here is Taylor. Richardson with the turnaround jumper is good, and with a lot of the offense being a lot of the defense being focused or zeroed in on Hildreth and Taylor, this is somewhere where Max Richardson can really excel in. And
it's much needed for Thunder. They need to get some scoring from other places, if only just to free up some space for Zaya Taylor and for Cameron Hildreth to get cleaner looks at the basket.
Aerosol, shot clock down to 3. He's lost the ball. Got to put up something. Blocked by Taylor on the wild shot from Dads.
And that should be a 24-second
That should be a 24, yeah, but they're continuing on. Doesn't matter now. Max Richardson's got the ball, and here's Hildreth. They're in transition, Thunder, and Hildreth, wild shot, goes in.
And I think that was a bit of a make-up call. Referees knew that or no call, I should say, because it looked like Hildreth pushed off on that shot, but they clearly should have had the 24-second violation.
Easy score for Gosney there, yeah. Hildreth with the elbow there, just the push-off, nothing doing there, but that was a wild shot from Hildreth. I don't think even he expected that to go in.
Great finish, with the pressure put on. Yeah, that's got to be a foul.
And another foul there, this time on Aerosol, who fouled Hildreth.
I think Cameron probably expects everything he puts up to go in. To be fair, I think the guy has confidence. It's
absolutely
in a good way.
Just looking at the comments, good to see Travis, or I'm assuming Travis Charles is family watching from Brooklyn, New York. Tiffany Charles, good to have you on board, madam.
Yeah, I agree with that one, Tiffany. I have to say, you know, no foul at either end.
Zaire Taylor with 5:8 to go. Easy pass to Hildreth, and Hildreth doesn't get the ball to go, but he'll go to the line for 2. Good pass there from Zaire Taylor, and Cameron wide open.
Yeah, good look from Zaire. Solent caught sleeping on defence, really. Cameron just stepping off his man who was fronting him. Didn't see him make the move, wide open. Unfortunately can't get the 2 to drop, but he's going to go to the line.
And Jonathan Lashley will come in for Travis Charles, who has 6 points. Andre Arisol leading the Kestrels with 9. Cameron Hildreth at the line, who leads all scorers with 12.
Yeah, and interestingly, Kestrels with 7 players in the scoring column. Thunder with just 3 players having scored so far in the game. Interesting to see how that works out in the longer run.
And Thunder at the moment shooting just 30% from the field, but not having, well, they're having a lot of joy from the foul line. They've only missed 3 now with that miss, but they're at 50%, and it will be a Solent possession there. They lead 33-25. Jackman finds Arisol. Gosney glides past Hildreth, but his layup is too strong. Here's Ward. Tom Ward 0 for 4 right now from the field. However, has 2 assists.
Dominic Ives with the long 2.
Long 2, but that's no good. Thunder's defense really stepping up here. Great play, great recovery from Ward. It's gone out of bounds. Brilliant defense, though, from Tom Ward.
Absolutely unlucky there, Tom Ward. Fantastic hustle. Unfortunately, not getting rewarded for the play.
Thanks for the shout out to Greg Tanner watching from Dubai. Greg Tanner, a very popular figure amongst every player and media representative in this country. Of course, the founder of the legendary website streetball.co.uk in the year 2000. And he's watching from Dubai. Good to have you on board, Greg. Scramble under the basket, and whistle has gone.
Luke Gosney getting up over Hildreth's back for the rebound, but then hitting the deck hard. Coach Guyman and referee Mills having a little conversation on the sidelines there about that call or no call.
And Tom Ward will get the ball in just a second, and Kestrels lead 33-25. And Ryan, in the early 2000s, I was just mentioning that obviously Greg Tanner's watching from Dubai right now. Now, streetball.co.uk was a very popular website in the early 2000s. That's since been kind of taken over by HoopsFix. But it showcases a lot of the British talent we have on a global stage. And Cameron Hildreth, obviously one of those players, but it's good to just have that platform, isn't it, where players can showcase their skills and websites can pick that up.
Yeah, and certainly, you know, talk about streetball.co.uk, that was a website, you know, when I played junior basketball, everyone was looking at the different highlight videos. Every week you would check out who was playing well. You know, the team that everyone wanted to beat at my level was Richmond, London United. Steve Veer, Waleed, who's still playing at Hemel, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, I think they won 2 or back-to-back, you know, under 20 titles. You know, really good team, coached by Jack Majewski. But you know, Pierre Fontaine, big shot by Elliot Dadds there.
Some great scores at both ends here, actually.
But streetball.co.uk was a highly, you know, exciting and you know, it's the first of its kind for basketball in you know, in this country.
Absolutely, and of course now the go-to place for those videos, HoopsFix. But there's loads of social media channels that are providing great highlights. The Rebound blog being one of them. BBL Fix's Twitter account coming up with some great highlights. It's great to see the NBL getting the exposure it deserves, and these players on the court really deserve that as well, as we come to 3:38 remaining in the first half. Kestrels lead by 10. Here is Aerosol putting the moves on Tom Ward, going all the way and hammers it home.
What a drive, Andre Aerosol.
Just out of nowhere with the seismic slam, Andre Aerosol. Fontaine picks his dribble up but finds Richardson, who finds Taylor, puts up a three, and Taylor's long.
Yeah, it's like Andre Aerosol's pace last time down just kind of froze the Worthing defence.
Breezed by Tom Ward on the way to the dunk. Here is Fontaine.
Yeah, Tom Ward struggled with that matchup defensively, just doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with Aerosol.
Hildreth, 4-3.
Big shot, step back, fade away, right in the face of Andre Aerosol. Big shot.
And I talk about BBL Fix and other social media channels. Good friend of mine, good play there from Aerosol again. A good friend of mine, Noel Gray, stating that BBL Fix will no doubt clip that dunk. I certainly hope they do. Here is Hildreth. Hildreth, wild three, and that finds nothing.
Do you know what I was just going to say about Cameron's maturity from when we saw him play that game, the first game last season? And, you know, he's getting bumped and pushed and knocked, bringing the ball up the floor there. That if it had been that first game, I think we'd have seen a different outcome. And then he went and unfortunately put up the bad shot to end the possession.
But a lot of the offense going through Cameron Hildreth at the moment. He's 5 for 8 from the field. Zaire Taylor, the only player that's really put up more shots than him. However, Cameron doing it at a better percentage, shooting 62% from the field.
Yeah, you know, you have to question, you know, if you're the Worthing Thunder coach, is that a sustainable way to beat this Kestrel team, to have one guy produce so much of your offense? You know, especially when they're giving it so much attention, you know, defensively, with Aerosol chasing him, not, you know, full court for the entire game. You know, we'll see if Cameron's up to the task, because that's a lot of load to take onto one person.
Absolutely, and another point put up by Owen Parker, the matchup between Aerosol and Hildreth, really proving to be a focal point of this entire contest.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you know, Aerosol is guarding Hildreth, whereas down the other end, you know, I think Tom Ward's matched up with Andre Aerosol, so slightly different, you know, dynamic. But yeah, in terms of offensively, you know, each player having a, you know, huge impact on their team.
Both teams coming into this L Lynch Trophy game unbeaten. Worthing, though, only the one game played, Solent of a 2-0. Dads, and here's Gosney. Finds Aerosol with Fontaine in his face. Good defense there from Fontaine.
Yeah, good box out from Cameron Hildreth on the boards as well.
Taylor with Jackman on him. Richardson, and I think he travelled with it and did, yep.
Hall and Jackman rotating, or switching on the defence there.
Of course, Jackman and Taylor know each other very well from their BBL days. Here is Dads. And Aerosol on 13 points at the moment. Here's Dads.
Dads thought about the deep three, gave it up to get the better shot inside, finds Lashley for two.
Yeah, beautiful
good
move there.
Good patience and good ball movement.
Beautiful move there from Jonathan Lashley. Here is Max Richardson. Wayward pass there from Taylor. Hildreth just about got it. Here is Hildreth putting the moves on Dads. Hildreth going inside and gets it to go.
Strong move inside and a soft touch. And you know what? You know,
Gosney there over Hildreth.
Cam Hildreth scoring at one end, and he's the only man back defensively at the other end.
But good play there from Luke Gosney. Fontaine puts up a three. Fontaine nails it. Ishmael Fontaine with his first score of the game.
Yeah, Thunder holding the lead at 10.
And a reach there from Taylor.
Thunder in the penalty, so not sure who's on the ball. Andre Aerosol in control of the ball, yep. Aerosol to the line to shoot the 2. Zaya Taylor's first foul of the game.
Absolutely, yes. Taylor's first foul of this game, and Aerosol with 13 points, make that 14 points. We spoke about it earlier on in the game, but what a revelation he's been for the Kestrels in his first season.
Huge pickup, adding to their defensive pressure, their ability to switch, in screening action, and probably the only player Kestrels have had in the last couple of seasons that's been able to pick up a ball handler, full court pressure, make people turn, and then along with that, the ability to fill it up at the other end as well, knock down threes and then penetrate to the basket.
Final 20 seconds of the first half. Kestrels lead by 12. Here is Aerosol with Fontaine. You could say Thunder's defensive specialist on D right now. Here is Aerosol still on the ball.
And Matt trying to get Tom Ward into screening action against
Aerosol. Aerosol from the elbow, no good. Hildreth gets the rebound. Final seconds. Hildreth puts up a 3.
Another
Thunder
foul.
bench. I think the Thunder bench wanted a foul. I think they've got it as well. So yeah, with no time on the clock, Hildreth will be going to the line for 3 shots. He's on 18 points at the moment. So it is half time, and it's a first foul on Jonathan Lashley, and Hildreth misses the first. You can see the Solent bench just having a discussion on that last possession. It was a wild 3-point attempt by Hildreth as the time was running out, of course. Makes the second.
Shame about the foul. It's one of those things, Do you put the guy under pressure even though he's out of control and off balance and things, or do you But he's got such a hot hand.
Absolutely, yeah. But maybe that worked in his Hildreth's advantage, because he was out of control. But either way, that ends the first half here at the Solent Sports Complex, or the Solent Bubble, and the Kestrels lead 48-38 over the Worthing Thunder. Cameron Hildreth leading all scorers with 20 points. Andre Aerosol leading the Kestrels with 15. A couple of players on 8 points as well. Luke Gosney and Orlan Jackman with 8. And Zaire Taylor also has 8 from the Thunder. And just a final word from both of you, starting with you, Jerry, on the first half.
Yeah, so I think probably the scoreline doesn't really define how close the game's been, and I was probably expecting it to be sort of closer than the 10-point game at half, to be fair, given the personnel missing from the Kestrels lineup and the fact it's pre-season. Kestrels coming out with the more balanced scoring output from the team, but yeah, most of Worthing's offence going through Cameron Hildreth.
And for me, I've been really impressed with how Cameron's, responded to a physical challenge, being pressured up the court, and he's shown some maturity of dealing with that and still managing to find ways to put the ball in the basket. If he carries on the way that he's going, that's a 40-point day for him against a really good defensive team from Solent Kestrels. But if you're Coach Guyman, you've got to be pleased with the way that your team's dealt with it. They've got balanced scoring across the board. Andre Aerosol's played really well. They're up 10 when Ian Smith only played 5 minutes in the game. No Brendan. They're sitting pretty for a decent win if they carry on the way they're doing. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting second half.
Absolutely, and we'll be back in around 10 minutes' time. Kestrels lead 48-38.
Who is your biggest inspiration?
I'm here filming the Solent Student Union.
BBC South Today's Tony Husband!
Who is your biggest inspiration?
I'm here filming the Solent Student Union.
BBC South Today's Tony Husband!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Solent bubble here at the Solent Sports Complex. And we are at half time, a few minutes, about 4 minutes roughly until the two teams get it on for the third quarter. Solent Kestrels lead the Worthing Thunder 48-38. Andre Arasol with 15 points leading the Kestrels. Cameron Hildreth leading all scorers with 20 points for the Worthing Thunder. And sorry to be a little mournful when we start this third quarter, but just like to point out that over the course of lockdown in March, April, and you could say May and June time, both clubs lost, or both from the community of Worthing and Southampton lost some beloved characters. So for the Worthing Thunder, two very respected and well-liked volunteers passed away. Andrew Rain, who was DJ and supporters club volunteer for the Worthing Thunder, and just recently Mark Gregory, who was a very loved, much liked volunteer on game nights, helping fans get into the Worthing Leisure Centre quickly and effortlessly, and just an all-round good person. Our thoughts and our condolences go out to the family and friends of both Andrew Rain and Mark Gregory. They will be sorely missed. And also for the Solent Kestrels, or much rather the Solent Stars. Some people might remember Antonio Bright, who was commonly known as Styx, who passed away a couple of weeks ago, died in a car accident in Georgia. And also a bit more recently as well, or a bit further than that, Carl Tatham, who was a well-known basketball figure, also spent some time in Solent playing. So rest in peace to both Carl and Antonio. And Mark, you spent a lot of time playing with Antonio Bright. Final season for the Solent Stars. What are your memories of Antonio Bright?
So I was the team captain of that team. That was the year before Solent Stars folded. And Antonio Styx joined us a couple of months into the season. I remember the first conversation I had with Earl Moore about Antonio was, when we knew that he was coming to play for us, that, Earl's first sort of statement about him was he's got hops like T-Mac. And he was unbelievable in transition, so athletic, so fast, great defender, great character, could shoot the lights out, and just high energy. And he was great for that team. The two Americans, were our lifeline into being able to compete in that division. And he's going to be greatly missed by everybody that certainly was involved in that team that he played for.
And obviously you have fond memories of Carl Tatham, who's just recently passed on. Just share your memories with him and how he actually got you involved into basketball, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. At the school I was at, we got a new deputy head who was secretary of the English Schools Basketball Association at the time, and all of a sudden the sport took off at the school, and it was around the same time that Solent Stars was starting, so late 70s, giving me age away, late 70s, and Tom Wiseman, who's the coach, and Marvin Johnson, who's one of the Americans, used to come in on a Friday after school and run coaching sessions, and he was just the most nicest guy, talented, skillful, always had a smile, and just did everything with a really good heart and from a good place, and it was completely inspirational. And then getting the opportunity to go and watch him actually play, and seeing all of his amazing skills out on the floor. Tremendous vision, tremendous passer. Yeah, just a great all-round guy who will be sadly missed.
And absolutely, and former teammate of Antonio Bright, John Wilkins, good friend of mine and good friend of yours as well, Ryan. Just offering the condolences on the YouTube channel as well. Good to have you on board, John. Yeah, Antonio Bright, what a fantastic player he was in the brief time. He was a former West Hearts Warriors player as well. Certainly will be sorely missed. And also the two Worthing Thunder volunteers, Andrew Rain and Mark Gregory. Just you couldn't ask for nicer people in this world, and always had time to talk, always were friendly, always said hello. And both Andrew and Mark will be sorely missed. And I know for Mark's family, Glenn, who is here today, Chris Richardson and Dean Richardson, obviously family members, my heart goes out to you guys. So we are about to start the third quarter here. Solent lead 48-38. And an interesting statistic as well that we haven't actually touched on. Ian Smith, 30 points. You know, didn't miss much last week against Essex. Been held to just 2 points and 1 assist in that first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a limited minutes because he picked up 2 fouls.
Still though.
But ultimately, if you're the Worthing team, you're going to take it whichever way you can get it. If you can get him on the bench to stop him being productive, it's no different to limiting him, shooting or his playing ability. He can't hurt you if he's sat on the bench.
But 4 minutes on the court, he can do a lot of damage as Cameron Hildreth with the floater gets us underway.
That was a beautiful decision. You know, saw the defender waiting for him and just rose up and floated the ball over the top. Lovely play.
Jackman bumps his man. Layup is no good. And Ives tips it to Cameron Hildreth. And Thunder can break here, but Solent have men back, and Fontaine couldn't hold on to the pass. And
it's going to be Worthing.
I think it will
still
be a Worthing ball. Yeah, I think that came off Smith last. Referee's on the far side just confirming that. It did come off Ian Smith last. I mean, that should be a Worthing possession. And it will be a Worthing possession as well. The ball did come off Ian Smith's head as it went out of bounds.
Although we've got a great general view of the floor from up here in this sort of eagle's nest of a commentary box, there are certain areas that are blocked off
yeah.
from some of us.
Just here, there's a little bit of a blind spot. We have to lean in at times as Aerosol puts up a 3 and is long. Good rebound, though, by Travis Charles. And Solent can reset. 8 on the shot clock. Jackman wide
3.
Open 3, no good. Offensive rebound by Charles, and Hill's going to go to the line.
Travis Charles tied up underneath, sticking around the boards as he does.
It was another great pass from Elliot Dadds that led to this play. He comes off the pick and roll, sees the help side coming away from, I think it was Orland Jackman. Drew the help side, passed it to Orland. He shoots a wide open 3, but the movement of the defense ends up with Travis getting a wide open offensive rebound and putting Worthing into a difficult situation. Had to foul him underneath.
And Dominic Ives now on 4 fouls. So Tom Ward coming in for him, and you might see Tom Ward and Howard Crawford maybe rotating quite frequently throughout this quarter. Howard Crawford, though, is also on 3 fouls as well, as Charles makes 1 of 2.
And the other thing you'll probably likely see now is Kestrels call some plays to get either Travis or Orland Jackman looks in the post, because one of the others going to have a mismatch inside.
Absolutely. Aerosol, Ian Smith, easy layup in transition for Ian Smith. He now moves on to 4. Taylor. Max Richardson wide open and misses the 3. Hildreth and Ian Smith battling. Ian Smith gets the ball. And a bit of a lackadaisical pass there from Smith. Inside it goes to Charles, and Fontaine with the unsportsmanlike foul. And Ishmael Fontaine can't believe it, but he kind of did have his hands all over Travis Charles from where we were there, and an unsportsmanlike foul called.
Yeah, he literally had him wrapped up, didn't he? It was arms right round him from, yeah.
As you say, from the wrong side coming in as well. It was an easy foul to call.
Yeah, I think Fontaine's a little bit upset that it got called unsportsmanlike because he thought he got a piece of the ball, but he was on completely the wrong side of the player, both hands around the body. It's one of those calls that the referee's just got to make by the rule book, and an unfortunate one because now they get the possession as well as the free throws.
That's a first foul on Fontaine. Here is Dads. Inside to Jackman, putting the moves on Taylor. Jackman kicks it out. Smith, nice passing around. Shot clock winding down. And that's a shot clock violation. One pass too many for Kestrels, but good defence around the perimeter from Worthing.
And I don't think the decision making to post up Zaire Taylor is a good one. He's too good defensively. It's not a mismatch for Kestrels to exploit.
Nice pass inside. Fontaine misses the layup. And now Kestrels can break. Here's Aerosol going all the way. Good transition bucket from the Kestrels.
And coach from Worthing thinking about a timeout. You can see him up questioning if another open transition basket happens, whether they need to regroup on a timeout.
Hildreth, putting up the three. Julian Stanley thinking about the timeout, as you mentioned. Here is Aerosol for the Kestrels.
Nice D by Tom Ward.
Tom Ward, brilliant defense there from Tom Ward. Here is Smith putting the moves on Fontaine. Glides by him, lays it up and in. And
just
timeout, Julian Stanley. Thunder now trail by 15 points. Ian Smith with 6.
Ian Smith, when he gets his footwork going, is just virtually unstoppable. Getting that shoulder down, getting by his man, getting low and getting to the hole.
And all this happening with Brendan Okoronkwo still on the bench, of course, carrying that knock that Ryan mentioned last time. And it would seem that Brendan might not play any further part may not play any part in this game. But Kestrels still leading by 17 points. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if Brendan doesn't play this game at all. It's good to see him suited up. Obviously wanted to give the ankle a go. It also makes you wonder, about the effectiveness of this Kestrels backcourt. Aerosol and Ian Smith looking like a real force to be reckoned with. A really good partnership developing. And you haven't got your other two backcourt players even featuring in the game. Bazumbru's injured. He's not even suited up. And Brendan's just taking it easy.
Of course, the two players not playing, Chris Scarlett as well, but Bazumbru and Okoronkwo not playing. Two players that were in contention for MVP honours when Kestrels won the National Cup back in January. I had Orlan Jackman on commentary that day, and he was convinced that Luke Bazumbru would get MVP. Instead, it went to Brendan Okoronkwo.
Yeah, I was disappointed for Luke. Not that Brendan didn't deserve it, but Luke just had such an explosive entrance into the game. I think he scored 10 straight points for Kestrels. And it really, they got the lead and never really gave it up after that. But he didn't play the consistent game all the way through that Brendan did, and that's probably what won Brendan the MVP. But as we've seen already in this tournament, Luke just so explosive and gets points in bunches, especially in transition, and then comes up with some of those big highlight plays that will get the crowd involved in it.
Absolutely. Howard Crawford with his first points as a Worthing Thunder player with that turnaround jumper. Jackman responds for 3. And the lead is 18. And an offensive foul call. That's Crawford's 4th.
Yeah, he was
moving screen.
He was very physical with Travis Charles at the other end, pushing on the ball screen. And I think Travis kind of let the referee know about it, coming back down the court and then moving screen at the other end. That could be costly.
Dads. And here's Smith. Nice passing around there. Jackman, another 3. This time his is short. Good box out. And it's was 1 on 2 there, but Richardson slows it down, finds Taylor, wide open 3. Taylor makes no mistake.
Yeah, Zaire timing his journey down court there, being able to step into the shot.
Ian Smith looks to respond and does. Ian Smith cancelling out Zaire Taylor's 3 with his own. Hildreth. Max Richardson, he puts up a 3. That one's short. Taylor wrestled for the loose ball, but it goes out of bounds. And it's a Solent possession. 5:13 remaining in this third quarter. Keep the comments coming, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have you all on board on the Basketball England YouTube channel. Charles from his favourite spot again. And the Kestrels lead is now 20. And that is their biggest lead of this game. Here is Richardson. Ward. Inside to Crawford. Crawford again goes inside, count it, and the foul. Howard Crawford
Looks
with
like
his second field goal.
Ian Smith might have swiped at him there and picked up another cheap foul. I know it went on Jackman.
And that is Orlan Jackman's first foul of the day. And Howard Crawford, first season with Thunder, first game with the Thunder, couldn't play against Essex due to international clearance. But Essex and Hearts Leopards or Oakland Wolves fans will know him. Played in the 13-14 season with them, averaged around 20 points a game. Ian Smith. Charles at the elbow. Charles again.
It was another great pass by Elliot Dadds. Cross court, saw that the extra pass was blocked off, threw it across court for Travis Charles. Another mid-range. Oh,
and
big
another,
shot.
Yeah, that's a long two-pointer for Max Richardson. Max Richardson, who spent last season in Norway, now in his first season back home with the Worthing Thunder. Of course, a lot of people know him from his time at the Loughborough Riders, and a foul is called there.
It's that matchup that caused Worthing some problems in the first half. Tom Ward on Andre Aerosol. The quickness mismatch is caused Tom Ward some problems.
But aside from that, Tom Ward defensively really solid today.
He's definitely stepped up to the challenge.
Absolutely.
So after Andre Aerosol got a couple of drives to the basket, he's done better with his body positioning, stayed between Aerosol and the basket and not let him get there.
Charles again from that corner again. Howard Crawford not getting close enough to Travis Charles. And Charles now on 15.
Yeah, Crawford kind of powerless to do too much at the defensive end, staying in the game on 4 fouls with 3.5 remaining in the third.
And Dad's fouls Taylor. And the gap is 20 at the moment. That is Dad's second foul.
Yeah, it was a smart foul. They're not in foul trouble. Zaire had him beat with the fade, puts him, stops the clock, gets him on the sideline.
Hildreth falls over but finds Richardson. Ward wide open, kicks it out to Richardson. Shot clock down to 2. And that'll be a shot clock violation.
Multiple rotations by Kestrels there, making them pass up the open looks or semi-open looks all the way down to the end of the shot clock. Great defensive stand there by Kestrels.
Ian Smith gliding his way through. He'll go to the line for 2.
So fast on that first step, just really gets down low and explodes into his steps to the basket, and then normally would finish that play along with the foul.
Absolutely. A lot of comments regarding Solent Kestrels and their involvement in the BBL. Of course, that's an ongoing conversation. It's been happening for the last couple of seasons, where numerous fans talk about the Kestrels and how they would fare in the BBL. Of course, last season we're in the BBL Trophy final, where they took the Newcastle Eagles to overtime. They defeated the London Lions and the Bristol Flyers en route, and of course Worthing Thunder, a fellow NBL team. If you had to hypothetically put the Kestrels, Jerry, into the BBL, how would you think they would do?
Thanks.
Come on. It's all on you. The spotlight's on you.
I think they'd be all right. I think it would depend. They might need to do a little bit of recruitment, but I think with the squad they've got, with the way they love playing together, with the way Coach Garman and Jack O'Keefe and Adam Sewell have got them, brief them and, look at all their opponents and stuff. The amount of work these guys put in behind the scenes to get them ready for these games is phenomenal. And I think that one of the things that possibly London were guilty of in the first game was of not scouting them properly. And at least, nice move.
Pass there. Gosney misses the layup.
Luke Gosney had some great looks this afternoon. Hasn't quite gotten to drop at times, but he's looking a lot sharper this week.
That's a wild pass from Ward, but it did find Richardson. Turnover though, and away come the Kestrels. It's 2-on-4 here. Smith from downtown knocks it down.
Yeah, if you had to put money on it, I think I'd have had some on that. Yeah, but in answering that question, I it is a hypothetical question. And could we compete? Could Kestrels compete? Yes, I definitely think they could. The home game against Flyers was. I wouldn't say a fluke, but it was certainly a result not out of the blue. But the manner of it was unexpected, I think. And although we lost down there, it was still a good performance.
Here is Smith for the Kestrels, putting the moves on Crawford. Step back jumper, and that rattles around and goes in. Ian Smith coming alive in this third quarter now with 15, and the Kestrels now lead by 26. Ward looking for options, can't really find any at the moment. Yeah. Fontaine, shot clock down to 5.
Worthing looking a little bit discombobulated.
Beautiful move from Crawford, who just exploded to the hoop and finishes strong to the cup, and he's going to go to the line.
Yeah, as I was saying, it looked like a broken possession, got down to 5 seconds on the shot clock, and Crawford makes an unbelievable move to the baseline and finishes with a dunk.
Put Lashley in the basket with it, didn't he, I think?
And almost, very nearly did. A huge play there from Howard Crawford. That's one way to make your debut. Crawford now with 6. And misses the resulting free throw. Jackman came up with it. And that is Orlan Jackman's 10th rebound. He has a double-double, 11 points and 10 rebounds. Smith puts up a 3. Smith knocks down a 3. Yes. My goodness me, he is heating up in this third quarter.
It's definitely not a coincidence that this lead has exploded for Kestrels when he's been back onto the court. Last season's MVP. Such a big influence maker for this team. Another great move by Crawford.
Crawford again going inside. Layup this time is too strong. And here comes Dads. Finds Smith again for 3, but this time he's long. But who gets the rebound? Jonathan Lashley. Luke Gosney wide open. The lefty is short. And Fontaine came up with it. And here is Hildreth. Final 30 seconds of this third quarter. And Hildreth loses the ball.
Interesting, there's two things have coincided here. One, Ian Smith's back into the game, and certainly made his contribution felt. And the second thing is Cam Hildreth's only made the 2 points in this quarter. So I think the two things kind of contributing. And Ryan, talking to your point earlier about all the scoring load going on.
Yeah.
Cameron maybe coming to life now. The referee just issuing a warning to the Kestrels bench. They're getting a little bit too excited and enthusiastic.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Gosney puts up a big 3. That's long. And final seconds of this third quarter. Ward, they've got to put up something. Tom Ward gets Fontaine gets the 3 on the buzzer, and it's short. I thought Ward would have put up that 3 there, but instead kicked it out to a surprised Fontaine.
Yeah, everyone was expecting Tom Ward to attempt a shot, and he didn't look like he wanted to, and he had no options but to throw the cross-court pass.
And that ends the third quarter in what has been a dominant one for the Solent Kestrels. They lead 78-51, a 30-13 third quarter. This is almost reminiscent to what they did last week against Essex, that third quarter where they scored 43 points to Essex's 16, and they've done it here again today against Worthing.
Yeah, they're can be so explosive when they, turn defense into offense, and then when you throw in, one of their players, Ian Smith, shooting the ball the way that he has in this quarter, it's going to be hard for Worthing to stay with him, especially if Cameron Hildreth's only going to score 2 points in the quarter.
And good to have Carl Wheatle, the GB international, on board with us today. And, I think he's just hit the nail on the head. Kestrels, an elite team defensively, shutting down Worthing, not just in this third quarter, but for the majority of the game. Cameron Hildreth, 22 points, sure, but he's had to work very hard for that. And the other players as well, really struggling to make an impact.
We said that a little bit earlier, that physicality and that, Andre Aerosol chasing Cameron up and down the court for most of the game, that will wear on you as an offensive player. As the game goes on, you have to have elite level conditioning to be able to still perform under those circumstances. And even every time he gets loose, they're switching somebody else who is an excellent defender back onto him, so he's not getting those clean looks that that will help him or did help him get those points in the first half. When they're throwing Aerosol, Elliot Dadds, Ian Smith, at any screening action to get somebody open, then they're not getting open because they're getting another elite level defender guarding them when they come off.
Solent currently out rebounding Worthing 45-27 as we start the final 10 minutes here in the Solent bubble.
Great
what a
set
pass.
play.
That's brilliant play. An easy score for Andre Aerosol. I don't think he'll get many easier scores than that. And the lead is now 29. Fontaine. Nice pass from Fontaine, and Max Richardson will go to the line. That was a beautiful pass from Fontaine, finding the cutting Richardson. And Max Richardson now to the foul line. That's Luke Gosney's first foul of the afternoon for the Kestrels. And Max Richardson makes both free throws. And one thing about Worthing Thunder is they will never give up. I've seen them many years fight through these kind of scoring deficits before, and they've come back and they've made it a very exciting climax. So we do have that in the back of our minds as well, Jerry.
Absolutely, yeah. Game, you'd have to say, still with 9.5 to go, still very much not over. If Kestrel show the same consistently defensively they have in their other two fixtures, then it's going to be a tough road back for Worthing. But absolutely, with Zaya Taylor leading the team, that's one thing you can bet on for sure. And there's an example right there at the defensive end. 24-second shot clock violation. No score for Kestrels. What can Thunder do coming back down on offense?
Absolutely, that's an example right there. A stop by Worthing. Another score, and it's just gradually getting the lead back down as Taylor has the ball inside to Crawford. Crawford gets bumped by Lashley, and Crawford will go to the line for two. And we're now starting to see Howard Crawford come into his own just slightly here.
Yeah, he's been taken a little bit out of rhythm with the foul trouble, having to come out of the game, a couple of times. But coach has decided to stick with him, even with the 4 fouls in the fourth quarter. Probably the right decision. See how he gets on, playing with the foul trouble. And we talked about it's a big deficit for Thunder, but with the explosive scoring they can get from both Cameron Hildreth and Zaire Taylor, they can make up a double-digit lead in a hurry. So you can't relax on your laurels if you're Solent Kestrels right now. Absolutely. This game is far from over.
Absolutely. And Crawford from Alabama misses his second free throw. Of course, averaged 20 points, 8 rebounds with his with the Essex and Hearts Leopards. Now, of course, the Oaklands Wolves. When he was here in the 2013-14 season. Here is Smith. Jackman looks for Smith, who's been hot from downtown, especially in the third quarter.
Shot clock running down again.
Shot clock down to 4 here as Gosney goes inside again. Good defense from Worthing. Another stop though from the Thunder. Richardson.
Looking to isolate Max Richardson against Ian Smith down in the post.
Ward for three. Ward is no good, and Jackman with another rebound. Here is Aerosol. Jackman goes inside with a standing hook, but no good. And Taylor comes up with it. Taylor finds Richardson. And Richardson is fouled.
Yeah, Orland Jackman.
Yeah.
Nice fake, nice move by Max Richardson, getting Jackman up in the air. Kestrels' third foul of the quarter. One more team foul and they're in the penalty. Something else that would help Thunder in their journey back to parity.
And Luke Gosney and Orland Jackman take a seat. Elliot Dadds, Travis Charles come back into it.
I think Orland Jackman's been awesome today. Double-double, 11 points, 12 rebounds. You know, he's made some pretty big defensive stands against some key players for Thunder. And that's exactly the kind of veteran leadership that Kestrels wanted when they signed him.
Taylor, shot clock down to 4. Crawford, Thunder have got to put up something. Crawford, 2 is good.
Tough shot. It looked like Zaire was trying to create some magic with one of his turnaround shots that he sometimes gets to go.
Aerosol for 3. Aerosol responds.
Huge 3.
It seems whenever Thunder make a brief run, Solent respond. Here is Richardson. It's 1-on-2. That's an offensive foul.
Excellent defense by Andre Aerosol. Sprinted back to the spot to beat. Sorry, I didn't see who it was.
It's on Richardson. That's his fourth.
Yeah, to beat Richardson to the spot, and he just barreled Andre over for the offensive foul.
And the scary prospect is, and we have touched on this, I know, but Kestrels blowing Thunder out right now without Okoronkwo, Buzumbro and Scarlett. As Lashley with the ball, Smith wide open off the screen, but his 3 is no good.
Big rebound.
He's got to have help there as Taylor gets it off Crawford. Now Taylor around the back, gets it. No, he doesn't get it to go, but he'll go to the line for 2. That was a crafty veteran move there from Zaire Taylor.
It was indeed, and all of that set up by Howard Crawford's big defensive rebound with 2 Kestrels players crashing the boards. Managed to get up and secure another rebound, setting Zaire up for the break, and trademark Zaire Taylor being able to just remain in control and get something off.
And Zaire Taylor, 11 points here today for the Thunder. And Taylor makes the first free throw. 3 assists, 3 rebounds to go with those 12 points for Taylor. One-time back-to-back MVP of Division 1 until Ian Smith took it away from him last season. Here is Aerosol to Dadds. Nice defense there from Tom Ward as Jackman was looking for a wide open Ian Smith, and then Tom Ward came in. That was good defense there from Tom Ward. Yeah,
it was good defense. Reading the pass, perhaps pretty tricky pass from Orland Jackman, one side of the floor to the other along the baseline. Offensively, Jackman gets the offensive rebound.
A great rebound there from Orland Jackman, and another whistle has gone. I think no, it will be an inline possession to the Kestrels. 6:42 remaining, and that's Taylor's second.
Yeah, Taylor's second, yeah. Kestrels looking the other way. Kestrels in the penalty whilst we're looking at the fouls.
83-57, 6:39 remaining in this final quarter. Shot clock down to 5. Jackman fakes 2 players and scores.
That is, Ryan, you were talking earlier about sort of the experience and the leadership that he brings, but that calm head, faking not one but two players out of the way, get himself closer to the basket for the jump shot.
Taylor, and Tom Ward comes up with it. Max Richardson in the corner, and Richardson knocks it down. Max Richardson now with 11.
Yeah, another one that looked like a broken play. Ball went loose. Thunder got hold of it and cross-court pass for a wide-open shooter.
Ian Smith off the glass, no good. Gets his own rebound and puts it in at the second attempt. Fontaine looking for some options here. We'll find it in Ward. Inside to Crawford. Crawford finds an open Fontaine, who puts up a three and knocks it down. Ishmael Fontaine with his second three of the day. Smith puts on the Jets. Good defense there from Max Richardson. No foul called, and Max Richardson just looking there at Ian Smith as he goes onto the floor.
Ian obviously thought Richardson was going to come across and try to contest. Richardson just stood there and Ian jumped straight into him. Good no call by the referee.
But with 5:20 remaining, Solent lead 87-63. Thunder trying to make a game of this, but you just feel Solent right now too strong. Ian Smith, 18 points in this second half alone. 20 points. Andre Arisol with 22, and Cameron Hildreth still yet to add to his tally in this fourth quarter.
I don't think we're going to see Cameron Hildreth back in the game now. If he was going to come back in, they probably would have put him back in already. But this is what makes Kestrels so dangerous, is that Ian Smith barely plays in the first half and then he scores, 18 in the second half. They've got multiple guys that can come in and score 15, 20 points for them. It makes them very difficult to prepare for. Somebody that's is a really good offensive player is going to have the third or fourth best defender from the other team guarding them. It's tough for Worthing to match up with.
Absolutely, and during that timeout we saw Solent Kestrels players with the warm-up tops united, not divided, as obviously we continue the promotion of Black Lives Matter and the continued support for equality in this world. Of course, Worthing Thunder will be debuting some Black Lives Matter jerseys throughout this season. As
Another turnover.
Arisol comes up with it and is too short with his layup, and it will go out of bounds. It will stay a Solent possession.
Yeah, Kestrels unable to convert that time. Andre Arisol disappointed. Neither Jackman nor Ian Smith crashing the boards could get a decent grip on the ball.
Arisol. Smith. Nice ball movement from the Kestrels, but the end product no good from Jackman, and Tom Ward comes up with the loose ball. Fontaine screaming at Richardson to back up your man, and Andre Arisol with him. And Fontaine misses the handle, shot clock winding down. Fontaine puts up a three, but is short. Arisol comes up with it, and Arisol will just slow it down for the Kestrels. Jackman. Dad's feeling it from downtown, but it's long. Taylor was looking for the long pass. Arisol picks up Taylor's pass. Beautiful move as well. Round the back, Lashley finishing it off. Great play from Andre Arisol.
Ian Smith, seeing what was happening, directed Andre Arisol into the pass, getting the steal. Lovely little wraparound behind the back pass to finish it off.
That was beautiful play from the Kestrels. Richardson with a step back three. And Ian Smith picks it off Jonathan Lashley's hands. 3:44 remaining. Lashley, the wild hook, but that goes in. What a player Jonathan Lashley has turned into. Second season with the Kestrels, of course, a former London Lion.
Trademark John Lashley. How many times last season did we see him making that drive across the key, looking like he's out of control, but somehow managing to finish?
And you could say the unofficial buzzer beater king of Solent as well. So many buzzer beaters over the years, over the 2 seasons for Lashley. There he is again off the glass, and it's good.
Yeah. Missed the 3-pointer.
Yeah. And Jonathan Lashley now with 9 points. Taylor backing up Dads. Nice pass inside. Crawford finishes. That's a beautiful pass from Taylor to find an open Crawford. Aerosol finds a little room. No good. Crawford the rebound. Fontaine's pass finds no one but Jackman.
Kestrels looking to settle down.
Yeah.
Here, get a quality possession. Don't let the game get ugly.
Aerosol for 3, no good. Fontaine rebounds. Yeah, I was literally about to make that point where Kestrels now, you could see they're slowing down each possession now as the game winds down. Taylor, Thunder just trying to make the score a little respectable. Fontaine, wide open 3, that's well off, and the rebound Dads. Andre Aerosol, and kind of went into Max Richardson a little bit there, and Richardson, being truthful, didn't see him put a hand out there. But referees saw something else, and Andre Aerosol goes to the line.
It was to do with the feet. You can see Aerosol's come up a little bit lame there.
And Max Richardson fouls out of the game. Sorry to disturb you there, but Richardson fouling out of the game on 13 points. Nicholas Ballon will come back into the game for the Thunder.
Yeah, but like you were saying, John, didn't look like a lot of contact there for a 5th foul for someone to put him out of the game. Looked like Aerosol lost his footing a little bit, but that was the call that got made.
And Thunder now just bringing the bench on. Josh Goddard coming into the game, and also for the first time, Worthing Thunder Jr. Tyler McFadden coming into the game as well. He's wearing number 31. Good to see another Worthing Thunder Jr. come onto the court and get some game time experience.
Yeah, certainly this game's decided now. That, if you're going to have these guys suiting up for you, they need to be able to, know the standard of play they're going to be coming against, and get them in there, get them some court time, get them to see what they're going to be faced with if they get to go into the game, and let's see what they can come up with.
Absolutely. Josh Goddard, though, needs no introduction. Former player coach for the Thunder as Tom Ward knocks down a long 2. Of course, this is Josh Goddard's 3rd season with the Thunder. Here is Smith. His 4th season, as Dads puts up a 3. That's no good as we come to the final 90 seconds of this game. Ian Smith just slowing it down. 7 on the shot clock, though. Smith puts up a 2. That's no good. And another rebound from the Kestrels. That's pretty much been the story of the game so far, as Gosney is no good. And Goddard this time comes up with it, and here is McFadden for the Thunder. Here is Ward to Taylor. Long 3 for Zaire Taylor. No good. Goddard fighting for it, and Ballon comes up with it. Ballon driving. McFadden puts up a 3, and that's long as well. Cool. Thunder's bench would have been up in arms if that went in. Ian Smith, though, at the other end, lays it in as we enter the final 30 seconds. 96-69, and even though it's pre-season, guys, I think a statement has been made by the Kestrels here today.
Yes, definitely. This was the game that I think everybody's been waiting for, certainly in this group. 2 of the top teams in the league last season. Hoping it's going to be a closer contest than it was. As we've been saying all day, it's pre-season. It's about getting the rust out, getting to know one another. But undoubtedly, both teams will come into this match with a lot of pride.
Absolutely, and there goes the buzzer. So, as said, statement made by the Kestrels. They end the L Lynch Trophy 3-0 here in the Solent bubble. They've defeated the Worthing Thunder 96 69 in what was a very strong second half showing by the Kestrels. They were up by 10 at half time and they absolutely blew Thunder away in the third quarter. Andre Arasol with 23 points. Ian Smith, 20 points in the second half. He ends with 22. For the Thunder, Cameron Hildreth, the leading man, with 22 points himself. Max Richardson with 13 before he was fouled out. Statement made by the Kestrels. Good effort by the Worthing Thunder today as well.
Obviously great defensive showing by Kestrels, limiting Thunder to 69 points. Ultimately we didn't see Cameron Hildreth for a big proportion of the second half, which would have, made a difference to the scoreline, but probably not the outcome. Coaching staff for Thunder decided not to put him back in, not take the risk. It's pre-season, his future isn't worth, getting the game within a respectable margin. Thunder are going to improve. They're going to be a better team as the season goes on. But Kestrel certainly, want to make that statement early on in this tournament.
Absolutely, and that ends our coverage of today's games here in the Solent bubble. Of course, we saw the BA London Lions defeating the Essex Rebels in Game 1. And of course, here in our heavyweight clash, the Solent Kestrels defeated the Worthing Thunder. My thanks to Jerry Merrill and to Ryan Payne for their contributions for today. I've been John Hobbs. So long, everybody. Have a good afternoon.